Hey guys, Foxdrop here with another Road to Master video. This is the first game outside of our placements. We've been placed in Platinum 2, so the climb starts here. There's going to be a lot of blitzcrank in this episode today, which may annoy some of you guys who don't like to see my blitzcrank, but hopefully most of you guys will enjoy seeing the God Hand himself at work. Also, as a reminder, the Christmas giveaway between Fire and myself is still going on. $1,000 of RP plus some Steel Series goodies to be given away. Plays.tv has helped us with the funding of this as well, which is awesome, so shout out to them. Check the links in the description if you want to enter the giveaway. It's completely free. We'd love to see you guys winning some free stuff. But the first game of the day, boys and girls, and we have blitzcrank. What a surprise, playing versus Ez and Nami in this early lane. Now, this early lane was a little bit like that first one play you saw there. I honestly feel like we could have won that play. I feel like we probably had a good showing in that sense. Although, honestly, the fact that I got caught by the bubble to begin with was really a bad start. So I feel like we had the potential to make a lot of stuff happen in that lane, specifically early on. But I kind of just failed the execution. This is a play here which is just a little bit frustrating. I make the pick. Jump on the pick, get the pick, don't overcomplicate it, don't start a massive fight. We pick someone out, just kill them, but instead we decide to then jump into everyone else, and we don't, like, we just have the free kill on Nami, just kill the Nami. As you can see, I'm getting, as I say in chat, just kill Nami at lol. But we don't do that, and that's a little bit unfortunate, because then it means that two of us die instead of just Nami dying. No one on the enemy team dies, so it ends up being a 4-for-1 against us instead of a 1-for-0, which I think 1-for-0 is probably slightly better than 1-for-4. So not the greatest way to execute things. But either way, this game's not been too well for us. We've skipped quite far forward here because it's just been not much to say, honestly, but we're not really winning this game, we'll put it that way. Vi is a champion who I've seen a lot more recently, and I think she's pretty good for solo queue. I think she certainly has a lot of redeeming qualities for solo queue, at least, and she got really fed in this game as well, as those redeeming qualities certainly showed their face in this game. Sadly, it was showing their face when she was on the enemy team rather than the ally team, but still, either way, it is what it is. Ez also ends the game getting pretty bloody fed, which is pretty annoying, because a fed Ez is kind of hard to play against. As blitzcrank, you want to try and focus down the enemy MVPs by grabbing them and catch them out of position, but it's really hard to do that against Ez because he can just jump out of it, right? So you'd much rather as blitzcrank have someone on the enemy team be fed who is not someone that's very hard for you to catch, that you can actually exploit them. Having said that, some of my grabs this game have just been pretty bloody boosted. My redemptions have been really bad this game as well, something that I definitely should work on. These games were taken like a little bit in the past as well, so some time has passed since then, but this was when redemption was a really new item, so I wasn't quite used to it yet. But either way, just using your item actives is not the hardest thing in the game, so you probably want to get that down, and that's something that I need to work on. So we lose our first game, and it actually puts us into negative win-loss, which isn't great, honestly. But second game of the day, I did say this would be mostly a blitzcrank game. I think this is blitzcrank video, I guess. I think this is the only game where I'm not playing blitzcrank today, so but I'm going back to my roots a little bit here. Like in season 6, Gragas was my one-trick pony champion, but then he became meta, and I just couldn't play him anymore. And now he's like pretty nerfed and stuff, and I don't think he's that great anymore, but he still works as just like a big body, which is what I'm just playing him as here. But either way, it's, yeah, I mean, Gragas is still Gragas. Like at the end of the day, his early game is a bit harder now because your E cooldown is more punishing, and your ultimate as well is like can be really hit and miss. It's really clunky, so it's a bit hard. You definitely lack the fluidity that you would otherwise be having on Gragas. Now this game has been pretty equal, honestly. If anything, we're ahead this game. But then I made that play there. Honestly, was a really bad play. I wanted to go a bit aggressive and catch these people, but we weren't in the play as a team there. It was just really me. So I shouldn't have made that play. If my team was on the same page as me, if I were on the same page as my team, that would have been a better play. Communication in solo queue. There's no point me saying, oh yeah, my team have been involved now, this would have been a good play. It's my team's fault. It's not my team's fault. It's my fault for going in. Alright, solo queue is an imperfect environment. It's not a perfect environment. It's imperfect. So you're never going to have the perfect situations. But you'll see as well, like, the game was kind of saved by AP mid Kog'Maw's Baron still, which was fortunate. And then, like, these fights here as well are okay. Nothing special, but okay. Our Ez is pretty fed. Our Ez is pretty strong, which is good. So he can make the plays happen. He can kind of mop up. But either way, it's still a pretty close game. As you can see, that the kills are dead even here. So right now, at this point in the game, I'm just trying to like start fights and flank for my team. And this is like a really interesting way that you want to be playing, which I would say that a lot of people would kind of see this as a mistake. Like anytime you die, a lot of people are like, no, that was a mistake. Anytime you die, you're like, no, I didn't want to die. Like every single death is preventable. Every single death you want to avoid, which is not necessarily true. That situation there, that play I made there, if you start a fight and you start that fight and you're the only one who dies, but you get your team to mop up a massive fight, of course that's good for you and your team. Especially if you're playing a tanky champion, someone like Gragas. Your whole role is about getting in there and causing a ruckus. I think Gragas's like title is the rabble rouser or whatever it is, so his whole point is about doing that. So it's okay to die if you're a tank, to set a play up and to start a play. And this is one of the reasons why I loved Gragas so much as well when he was my one trick, is your ability to start plays is really, really big. Like the play I just started just now, you know, I started that play, I was the playmaker here, and before as well when I died, again I was the one starting it, I was the playmaker. But this is like this game has been really close pretty much the whole way through. We started to pull ahead in kills and we do have the initiative here now. However, Caitlyn is trying to push down the base and win, so I go back to defend against her. My team continues for the win, and there we go. We whip out the victory. So we're back to 50-50, guys. We're back to 5-0, 500 win-loss here, which is not great, but it's certainly better than having a negative win-loss. So next game, we're playing some more blitzcrank. Surprise, surprise, kill surprise. It's blitzcrank, boys and girls. Going really ballsy here for the first blood play. Again, not really good communication between Jin and I here. I think if we'd been on the same page, I probably wouldn't have to die. But I went quite aggressive there, and we still got something out of it, so that's still pretty good. And yeah, I mean, getting Jin ahead of Cog is always good, because Cog is someone who traditionally scales very well into the late game. So you want to try and abuse the fact that he's not necessarily the best laner, at least as far as his damage goes. His range can be a bit annoying at times, but more or less Kog'Maw isn't the best laner out there. You can definitely abuse that, especially as a blitzcrank where I can just grab him. But either way, this game again, a very close game. A lot of these games today have been quite close. So 20 minutes in and the kills are almost identical. We are playing against a LeBlanc this game as well, who is arguably one of the strongest champions in the game right now, at least in my opinion in this patch. He's really, really good. And this Kha'Zix has been up my arse a little bit too much this game, as you can see. I'm just like walking around, chilling out, trying to, you know, follow up the play, and boom, Kha'Zix jumps out of nowhere and rips me a new arsehole. Not quite the one. But also something that you might notice as well, if you take a look on the left, and you can see the champion portraits and the champion level specifically, we actually had an AFK player this game. Our mid laner rage quit when I think he died like twice or something. He died for the first time, flamed our jungler, and then he died for the second time and just rage quit. So this was a 4v5 game, which obviously is never in your favor. 4v5 tends to be really hard to win, but they're not impossible to win. You don't really want to give up in a 4v5, but at the same time, if you try really hard to win a 4v5, you get close to winning it, but then at the end of the day, you know, the numbers just don't work out for you. You can get really tilted for the rest of your games because you're like, we should have won this game. Like, if we had this 5th member, we should have won. You know, you can have that mentality, which is a really bad mentality, because then you go into the next games playing like crap because you're tilted. So all you can do is try your best, but I would advise to never invest too much emotionally into the game, because if you do lose, then you're going to get really, really sad. So always accept it as like, okay, we're probably going to lose this game. Anything better than that is good. But if we lose, then whatever happens, we lose. But still, we're giving this game a pretty good run for its money. 25 minutes in, we're keeping it kind of close, which is pretty good considering we 4v5. Something which is a bit of a shame this game is our positioning, specifically against the Kha'Zix, was really bad this game. We had specifically Jim was always walking away from everyone else and then just setting himself up for the Kha'Zix. I think he kind of forgot that there was a Kha'Zix in this game, because like if you look at the positioning of him in these team fights, you'll see he just gets picked off by Kha'Zix endlessly, because I don't think he really respects that Kha'Zix can be around. Like right here again is another example where we see Kha'Zix in the bot side. He's in the bot side jungle, and he just jumps on Jin and kills him. And I died so many times this game trying to save Jin from this Kha'Zix, so it ended up not being too well. I get a little bit frustrated about that as well. But at the end of the day, like I say, 4v5s, you're not expected to win them. We would have won this as well if it was 5v5. The fact that the game was so close Means that obviously if we had this 5th member, it would have been a good... My chair is very squeaky today. It would have been very good. Much higher chances of winning this game. But still, like I said, don't get too invested in it, because if you lose, then you don't want to get really tilted. But that game is that game. That was in the past. Moving on to the next game here, we have a Vayne in our lane this time. Vayne is arguably one of the... I think at this point... This may have even been like pre-nerf of Vayne. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but she's... Either way, Vayne's very, very strong. She's a really good solo queue carry as well. So... Like, my blitzcrank is really good too, so having blitzcrank, my amazing blitzcrank with this, with one of the best AD carries around right now is really solid. Even against Ez, who is arguably the, like one of the hardest AD carries to play against, because he can jump out of your hook, still easy peasy lemon squeezy. Getting a grab onto the stealth Kha'Zix there as well. I don't know if you saw that, but that was a grab onto the stealth target. Beautiful stuff. But yeah, there's no cam for this game, by the way, because like when I got into the game a bit late and then my webcam wasn't working. Sometimes this happens where I have to like unplug my webcam, plug it back in again and fix the settings, but I didn't have time because I just did it way too late this game, so sorry about that. There's no webcam for this specific game, but you know, you got the important thing, which is the gameplay, right? You guys don't care about seeing my face. You guys, if anything, that may be a bit of a hindrance. Turn off the audience. Maybe that's why I have like a 98% male audience and 2% female, because I stick my face in all the bloody videos and people are like, you know what? I'm not happy with that. They just like, they bugger off and they go watch someone else, someone who's beautiful, like Jibe or something like that. But still, look at the kill totals this game and the time into this game. A 16-minute game, 14 kills to 2. Pretty good one. Quite a nice game, honestly, to have straight after an open mid. Straight after the 4v5 game, to have an open mid game. I guess that kind of makes you feel a bit good. So kind of like a free loss for a free win. So it kind of cancels out the last game, which is nice to an extent, I guess. But again, back to the 500, and you can see my MMR and my LP gains here. I'm gaining a lot of LP now because I'm playing against like challenger master tier players in these games, by the way. Even though it says I'm in plat, I'm like the beginning of season. Oh, look at that grab! What a beastly grab! The beginning of the season MMR is just busted. Like, yeah, it's crazy. So I gain a lot of MMR, and I've got a friend who's like, he's maybe like won 2 more games than he's lost. And he's played maybe 100 or 200 games, and he's in challenger. And his win rate is crap, but because his MMR is so good, it's still enough to climb. But Foxy Grab is out again, boys. Foxy Grab. This is why I have an emote after my blitzcrank on Twitch, because I just grab everything in sight and I make the plays happen. Look at this, man. This is Morgana. Morgana is arguably one of the hardest counters to blitzcrank in lane, because she just black shields all your grabs. But not for me, man. I've always said if I play against an Ez or a Morgana, I don't care that much, because I can just play around it. Like, you just grab Ez before he uses his jump, and you'd be surprised how many times you can like surprise grab an Ez, so that before he's even gone into... Whoops, I accidentally knocked up a minion there. Before he's even like done his jump, you can just grab him, because he doesn't even expect it. Like, you'll just like do some insane grab that he's not expecting, and you get him that way. Like, he thinks he's behind a minion, he thinks he's safe or whatever, and you can still get him. Or you just wait for him to use his jump. Either way, you can play around it. It's really no problem. The people who I'm actually more afraid of playing against this blitzcrank are the really tanky people who you just don't want to grab into your team. Like, even if you could do it, you just don't want to do it. So specifically, people like, they tend to be the quite tanky like initiate champions. So someone like Leona or Braum, maybe Alistair as well. These are the type of champions you don't really want to grab into your team. And they're also the type of champions who the best. How did that not stun LeBlanc on the wall? Come on, man, that's bullshit. I should have ignited here though. Definitely should have ignited that one. But the best counterplay to those kind of champions is to actually protect your team from them. So people like Janna are really good against them, because they can, you know, protect against these people coming in. But blitzcrank is not so good against those champions. Either way, that's all just rambling on. Not important for this game here. Today we are trying to string together the first positive win-loss that we've had ever since game place, and it looks like we're heading towards that. The kills are quite equal, but we are heading towards it for sure. We are 14 kills to 10 right now. I'm chasing down on LeBlanc, trying to scare her off, making her use her ult or something. I don't know whether she just used her ult there. It looks like, honestly, she may not have, which is a bit ridiculous, because she just jumped away from me. Like, what the bloody hell is the cooldown on that bullshit? But either way, whatever. We stop her from doing anything, at least. Notice my iron builds as well. I'm kind of trying out this redemption rush. I've gone for the... Is this called Eye of Equinox, I think this is? Or Eye of the Watcher, or something like that. It's the combination of Sightstone and Targons. I think that's what it's called. I think it's called Targons. I like that. It's okay. And then I'm rushing the Redemption after that. But I think that right now, because like I said, this was recording a little while back. Right now, I quite like the Face of the Mountain into Redemption. That gives you a lot of balanced utility, where you've got a nice shield from Face of the Mountain, which is actually quite good nowadays, because you've got the it shields both of you, like your target and yourself. So it's extra good nowadays. But you got Face of the Mountain, and then you've got the massive heal as well. It gives you a lot of utility, which is something that Blitzcrank kind of lacks. Like Blitzcrank's a one-trick pony where you just grab people, so I quite like that build. I would recommend that out at least on Blitzcrank. Look at that! You just saw the last clip of the previous game. The last clip of the previous game was bloody me flash grabbing a Morgana even though her shield is up, and the first clip of this game is me grabbing a Morgana even though her shield's up. If we didn't get counter ganked by this bloody Amumu, this would have been like ridiculous and delicious and spicy. But I think we probably could have made that play happen. It's a bit unfortunate. I could have probably flash ignited that Vayne and made that happen. I'm actually going to go ahead and just quickly close my Discord here because it keeps beeping, which is a bit annoying. But we did have a we did have a lot of attention from Amumu this game. Amumu certainly liked us quite a lot. And honestly, no offense to this Caitlyn, but her lane phase this game was really questionable. She had a pretty, she didn't play the lane phase particularly well. So I mean, I'm really not trying to cuss her out when I say that. It's just like, it happens, you know, it totally happens. Like, maybe I have a bad lane phase where I miss all my grabs. Maybe Caitlyn has a bad lane phase where she misses all her skill shots and she, like, whatever, you know, it just happens. I'm not trying to say you're shit, fuck you, Caitlyn. I'm just trying to say, you know, it's just how this game went. But Caitlyn is a very good late game carry as well. So, usually, if you don't win lane, you're a bit screwed on Caitlyn, but as long as she can get into late game, it's a bit better. Awareness on that TP wasn't amazing there either, but you can still see, despite the fact that we were getting camped really hard this game, like Amumu was here twice in this game, Talon was here as well. Despite Amumu's here again, he's here right now. He's still here. Like, despite all these things, in the actual 2v2, we're still really strong. So, like, it's a questionable situation to be in. Like, you could say, you know, guys, to stop fighting, stop dying, what you're doing, but at the same time, honestly, as long as you can keep 2v2ing, it's fine. Like, being able to keep that pressure up is really good. It's a really positive thing to have for your team, and we were able to do that at least this game, and that means that at least for our team, it's a lot easier to play. Because for my team, if my team can at least rely on us to be able to handle ourselves, then if they send a Mumu down all the time, if they send Talon down as well, then that actually is good for our team. Like, our team can just do stuff while they're always sending people down. And in this fight as well, I'm just playing around the Vayne, just trying to like disrupt her and stuff like that, just trying to be a nuisance to the Vayne. Not quite sure what Talon's doing this game. Well, he killed Kha'Zix, I guess. But easy peasy lemon squeezy, boys. I really like this skin as well. I've started using this skin. It's really cheap. It's like a 500 skin, but it's really good. If you look at the CS as well, funnily enough, despite the fact that we're kind of feeding because we're just getting camped, Caitlyn has like 70 plus CS on this Vayne. Like, she's really far ahead of this Vayne. Like, I say she didn't have a great lane phase, and this is what I mean. Like, we should have stomped the crap out of these guys in lane. We didn't manage to do that, but we did. We still were like so far ahead of these guys, and that is honestly, it's quite frustrating if you're on the enemy team here. Like, this, to be put in this situation where you give massive amounts of help to a lane and then they just have no CS and like they still don't win. Like, it's really hard to play against, and the fact that we were able to do that is good. You know, that's really good for our team, because otherwise these guys would be pretty screwed. You can just see as well there, Rammus just reconnected, so he DC'd for parts of this game, so this was a bit of a 4v5 game as well. Rammus top lane, that's all. I think there have been like 2 Rammus top lanes today, maybe one of them was jungle, I'm not sure, but a bit of a weird one here. Look at me playing, I'm not quite sure, like, you can see my face in the corner here as well, my eyebrows are a little bit raised. Caitlyn did like a hero QSS here. Like, I tried to block the Morgana binding, but it actually went through. It hit Kate, but she instantly sashed it. And then she said in the chat, anyone saw that QSS? And like, you could see my reaction as well. I don't think she's scripting, because if she was scripting, I think she would have had a better game than this, at least, especially early on. But holy moly, that was a ridiculously fast Captain Jack QSS. But still, I think that's going to wrap up the games for today, boys and girls. So, in the end, we actually had a decent run of things. Not amazing, but a decent run of things. A bit of a roller coaster ride, this one. But I hope you enjoyed the blitzcrank plays. Don't forget to check out the description for the giveaway and all the details where you can follow me, my stream, subscribe to me here on my second channel and all my social medias too. But thanks a lot for watching the video, boys and girls. And I will see you, almost in our promos, I'll see you in the next video.